Lots of people spend a lot of time. They work very, very hard, but they don't get the results. They don't get the money value that they believe they're worth, but they work very, very hard. So does hard work equate what they deserve?
You know, that's an interesting question. I was brought up in a family of that mindset. You worked very hard and you made money. But, my stepfather was a body man on cars. He made good money, but he literally worked himself to death. And so there's a lot of stuff to unpack around that, but we'll just go through a couple points. When, especially in the entrepreneurial space, most people struggle with what to charge. And the first thing I say to them is, okay, I want you to put down the number of hours you put in learning the skills that you have to offer people over the last 10 years. Okay. And then I want you to write down how much you have spent getting to where you are, because it's probably in the hundreds or millions of dollars that we put out to accumulate our knowledge and skill and all of that, the hours, the time, all of it. And when you really get down to that, they should be making a lot more than they think they should be making, right? And so the idea there is a couple of things. What are the limiting beliefs that you have around money? Okay, that's the first thing. I'll give you a few examples that are very common that I had to get rid of. The first one was my mom. Well, honey, money doesn't grow on trees. Well, that was my mom's, right? And so as human beings, we want to be the good children and listen to our parents. They're doing the best job they can to bring us up in a good mindset. There's no training for money as a human being. They're getting better in institutions, but my training was, you're 18, go out and get a credit card so you can build your credit. That was it, right? So then I got myself in a whole bunch of debt spending money on stuff I didn't need and racked up a credit card bill. But if I'd had more education and insights there, but my parents just didn't have that. So having the awareness around those limiting beliefs is the number one thing I would say. The second would be deciding you don't want to own it anymore if it doesn't serve you. And then the third thing would be rewriting that like limiting belief. So I've got acres out back. If you want a hayride in my money trees, just let me know and I'm happy to take you, right? And so it's really about rewriting that reframe of what that limiting belief is. So I would say that is the number one thing that helps people to know what they deserve because they actually believe it. So you can say, hey, I deserve $1 million, but if you don't actually believe it, then it's never really going to happen. So what do you need to do to get to that point where you believe it and you actually see things are happening? Because, Fong, you and I have talked about this. Results are what talks, right? We can build confidence and be all woo-woo and whatever, but the results are really what show where we go. And so creating results are really what's going to show you what you deserve and how hard you've worked. Having the awareness around that is the first step to getting you on the path to actually letting you know what you deserve. And yeah, we can say millions of dollars or billions of dollars, and I do deserve that, and I truly believe that, and I know why it's coming. That's why it's coming my way. But I've had to get rid of a lot of those limiting beliefs, right? And reframe that money mindset. So those are the two key things. The third would be stepping into the vision. So the difference between that, to put it in simple words, is you can say it, but do you really believe it?